The Dow and the S&P 500 ended last month at record highs. Baseball's playoffs start this afternoon, the day after the New York Mets and Atlanta Braves clinched the last two National League wild cards. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Lawrence County depends on WDXE News, on the air since 1951. This is The Legend. 105.3, 95.3, WDXE.
Hey, that's us, WDXE, and my friend Bill Adams is in the house.
Well, good morning, Mr. Jeff.
How are you?
Doing great. Yourself?
Yeah, it is time for that world-famous Rent Right Hour and First Class Charter Hour. And, you started that whole thing.
I did. Yeah. Wife and I.
You and your wife and your family, you started that whole thing over there.
Yep. Sure did. Rent Right and First Class Charter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun to think about, really. I mean, that's a great heritage for you. Your dad, of course, we've talked about him here and kind of the history of you coming to Lawrenceburg, all that kind of stuff, and of course his coaching and teaching at Lawrence County High School and all that kind of stuff. But then he was entrepreneurial.
Coach was.
He was.
He was always. I think a lot of that spirit came from his young age. My grandpa, who I never knew, was in the theater business.
Yeah.
And Louisiana and Mississippi, Louisiana, and over into Texas. And when he died, the word is he owned 25 theaters. And he first started with the crank type. So that was many years ago.
That was a while back.
And, of course, Coach, his plan was to stay in the theater business after college. But that didn't play out. So, yeah. So
he played ball, too, didn't he?
Played ball.
Your dad?
Played at LSU. And got hurt, went to the military, served our Air Force, served our country, and then came home and played again at Louisiana Tech.
Oh, okay.
And I finished there, and that's where he met Mother.
What position? Did he play several positions? Or
played in running back.
In
the offense. So
like Jerry Clower, he's the one carried the football.
He's the one that did. Yeah, he sure did.
Good deal.
Yeah,
good deal. Well, we loved him. He was a tremendous influence on a lot of young men here in Lawrence County when he was here, and even beyond his years at school.
Yeah, he did more teaching and coaching after his school years than he did while he was in the classroom.
I spent a lot more time with him after school and after I was a grown man than I did while I was in school.
Sure.
Yeah. And so he was a tremendous influence. I was tickled too that my son Daniel got to even know him a little bit.
Oh, Daniel. Daniel is so talented.
Oh, thank you.
Coach was so attracted to that, and that was one thing that I believe it's a lesson for all of us is to really find the gifts and talents that the Lord has given us in everyone and allow them to grow. Daniel obviously is very artistic and creative.
Well, thank you. We watched both our kids. All three of our kids. Well, I forget Missy. Missy's grown, but now grandkids too. So, and you got children, and just they're all talented.
That's right.
They're all talented in their own way.
That's right.
Well, hey, I was thinking about. Of course, this is the hour sponsored by First Class Charter and Rent Right. Normally we would have a guest.
True.
And talk about whatever, but today. Just because of circumstances, it's just you and I, and we talked about what we might do, and so we're going to open up the phone lines. Of course, they're always open, but 766-9393 if you'd like to talk to Bill while he's in here. And one thing I was thinking about while he's talking about your dad and building the business that he's built there, it's a service business, but it's also a relationship business.
Very much so. Both are.
Yeah.
Both companies are.
Yeah.
And the rental company, Rent Right Incorporated, started in '78. And the way that came about, years before that, Dad had gone into a rental store in North Louisiana and rented equipment.
Yeah.
And so he just put that in his register.
Yeah.
And he said, I want to do that one day. So the time came in the late 70s while we were in Lawrenceburg, and we rented a building from Perry Brothers Tractor Company.
Yeah.
It's at the current location, 721 Buffalo Road. So that's how we got started. Yeah. And Coach used to make the joke. We started with one water pump and 2 sets of scaffold, so we got rolling. And but the folks of Lawrence County are very generous and giving. But yes, it's very much relationship driven, and we really appreciate that. And customers over the years.
I just wonder, and you may not have any way of kind of keeping up with this, but I wonder how many thousands of customers have walked through those doors.
Yeah,
over the years,
I have no idea, but I do now see great grandfathers that were customers of ours in the 70s.
Yeah,
and there's a few of them still living.
Yeah, so
that's really neat, and to reminisce with some of those guys and some of the projects that happened years gone by. Yeah, and it's quite entertaining.
Hey, you mentioned LSU.
Yes, sir.
And of course, you and I are football fans. We love football. I'm sure you watched the Alabama game the other night.
I watched 2 hours before and 2 hours after.
Jimmy Ann, of course, is a big Alabama fan.
She is.
And of course, I guess she was okay with the referees cheating, but I said that for your sake, Jimmy Ann. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she. I kept telling her. I said, Bama's going to be thankful they have 28 points at halftime.
Yeah.
So,
Georgia made a valiant effort comeback. They really did. It was a good game. It was a really good game. That's the kind of game you like to watch. But you mentioned LSU, and I got to tell you a quick funny story on my grandson, Shepard. Now, Shepard's a little athlete, as you know, and he loves football. He first started calling it fitball. He wanted to play fitball. Well, he has figured out that it's football, and he's played his first little year of little bitty football. But he's also a big baseball fan. Mm-hmm. And Ronald Acuna Jr., that plays for the Braves. You know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't keep up.
Well, the people who are Braves fans know exactly who Ronald Acuna Jr. is. Everybody wants his jersey, and of course, Shepard's no exception. In fact, I bought him one. I got him an Acuna jersey. Well, he hurt himself. He tore his ACL, and he's out for the season. Well, this tore up little Shepard. Shepard's like, he's out for the season, Papa. Papa, he tore his LSU.
He's tore his LSU. That works.
It works. So we have laughed about that for weeks.
He tore his LSU.
He tore his LSU.
That's great. I'll have to remember that one.
You need to remember that. He tore his LSU. When you do that, you're out for you're out for the season. Oh my gosh! Well, what's new at Rent Right now?
Well, it's fall of the year. We're right on the verge. Fair's over. A lot of projects going on right now.
There really is.
A lot of water lines going in, and barn reconstructions and additions going on to homes. And we'd love to help you with that equipment that might be needed. We rent the trenchers, walk behind trenchers, and also backhoes, mini X's, skid steers. All those projects that you want to do around the home or farm, it would be wise to call us, and we'd love to help you out on those projects.
I have projects sometimes, and I'm not sure even quite how to start. And you might have somebody there that I could walk in and say, hey, I want to do such and such. What do I need to do it with?
Yeah, we've become just an information center.
Yeah.
And just call, and we'll be glad to guide you.
Yeah.
If we don't know, we'll sure pass you on to somebody that does.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing. You probably have a tremendous lineup of resources that you know how to guide somebody into somewhere that have the know-how to do those projects maybe.
Yeah, a lot of contractors in and out.
Yeah.
Home restoration people, high-vac people. They're always in and out. So we do have a database that we can share. Information with you if you need it.
Yeah, that's good. That's one of my one of the things that I've learned, and I think I learned this watching Andy Griffith. If you don't know, call the man.
Call the man, Aunt B. Call the man.
Call the man.
Yeah, we watch that episode about every 2 months.
Yeah. That's right. Call the man. Just get it done. Oh my gosh. Well, first class charter still rolling.
Rolling, we've had buses all over the country this year, and we are taking fall reservations. We do a lot of sports teams this time of year, and it's coming up toward the fall of the year, leaf-looking season, I call it, and different things. A lot of church groups, maybe a Sunday school class that want to take a Christmas trip or something. We'd be glad to talk to you.
Is there a lights tour?
We need to talk about that. I'd like to partner up with you this year. We are going to do something.
Let's do it. I'll just say I'm in right now. That,
okay.
We'll do. Keller Williams will sponsor it.
There you go.
And the radio station. We'll figure it out. Between me and you and the bus load, let's get a trip.
Okay,
out.
It's fun. I've got an idea too, and we like to change it up every year. But the idea is to have fun, have friends go with you that you want to hang out with, and also whatever funds are raised off of that Lights of Love tour. We give it to a charity.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you and I can come up with that charity or a need. We've met cancer needs. We've done just different events. I think it was God's Storehouse one year and different things.
Well, maybe between now and next week, we'll sit down and maybe plan a date and a time that works.
All right.
And then we can start making plans for it, sure enough. I'd like that. I think that'd be fun.
Okay, it's a lot of fun.
All right.
But we do all types of travel, senior adult travel, military, which we go to all the bases in the United States, drop troops off, movements for training. A lot of athletic travel. We had the University of Missouri. They flew in. I can't remember which airport. Picked them up, kept them, and returned them back. So a lot of it's really fun.
I got an interesting question for you. Have you hauled any famous people that we might recognize?
Yeah, we actually have.
I got to thinking. Can you name drop some folks that may have ridden?
Do you remember a football player and a celebrity that a movie was made by the name of Michael Orr?
Yeah.
You remember that? You want to hear the story?
Yeah, I do.
We got a call, and can you pick up in Memphis?
Yeah.
Sure. Can you run straight shot to Nashville with a small group? Sure. So driver calls and says the address that was given to me is not a normal place. It's not a school. It's not a church. It's not a venue. It's in a ritzy part of Memphis.
Yeah.
So the driver was sitting in the motor coach talking to us, and I said, "Well, the address is correct."
Yeah.
So this big, huge man was standing out on the front porch, waving at the at the bus driver.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Flagging him to come on in. So they make contact, and he said, I think I'm at the wrong address. He said, no, you're at the right address. Come on in and eat supper, but then we'll head to Nashville.
Oh, wow.
It was Michael Orr, who had just signed a contract with the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, wow.
And he was taking his family. You remember he had two families.
That's right.
Okay. He was taking all of them to fall practice. He wanted to hang out for a week at his place in Nashville. So here we go. We load up, and the driver eats supper with them, and they take off to Nashville. And
now, for those who don't know, maybe you ought to explain exactly who Michael Orr is.
I'll let you explain it.
Well, I'm not sure I'm 100% right about it. Is he the one that was on The Blind Side?
Blind Side.
Yeah, The Blind Side.
Played at Ole Miss.
Played at Ole Miss.
Adopted.
He was adopted and played at Ole Miss, and then ended up playing for the Titans some.
Played for the Titans some. Fabulous athlete.
Yeah.
Played. Yeah, he was. He couldn't fit through that door.
So it was the real him.
It was the real him. So
how cool is that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But we occasionally will. This year, if I'm not mistaken, we've hauled the Tennessee State Supreme Court. We did some move for them.
Cool.
They were doing a just kind of like a retreat.
Oh yeah.
And so we get to do some pretty cool things that are kind of quiet. It's not going to be on Facebook and those kind of things. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to us planning something. I think that'd be fun and exciting.
Okay. We'll do it.
And I'd like to be a part of that. That'd be fun. And we'll, of course, give the details out here and all that. Hey, if you'd like to talk to Bill, 766-9393. Listen, I wanted to switch gears just a little bit with you because all eyes have been on East Tennessee and the Carolinas, and the devastation that has taken place over there. And I know that there are a lot of efforts being made to gather help, send supplies, those kind of things. And 1,000 Hills has an effort going on that you're a part of. And you might want to kind of fill some folks in what you know about this part at this point.
Yeah, we 1,000 Hills Cowboy Church in Etheridge. We have a location in St. Joe also, but we're beginning today to collect items for flood relief effort, and we'll be coordinating with a sister Cowboy Church in that area, and we don't know all the details yet, but we will be collecting starting today. And if you need more information, it's 829-2816. That's our church office. Miss Lisa will be answering the phone. So what we do, Jeff, is kind of hang back just a little bit and see about the needs after the immediate charge. And there's a lot of interest currently, a lot of needs going that way, a lot of supplies going that way, a lot of excitement, which is just rightfully so. But what we've done, even with the floods that in other places, Florida and Texas,
Right.
we're usually a week or two behind everybody else, and we've been known to send workers also.
Yeah.
Can't meet all needs, but we sure can meet some. So if you want to be a part of that with giving, there's a list circulating around on Facebook. You can contact us here at the radio station or the church office. We'll get you a list of needs.
Yeah, I had the site up the other day, in the Facebook site. I did. And I think there is, here Hurricane relief, disaster relief. There is a post there from 1,000 Hills Cowboy Church on Facebook that gives you the date and times for the drop-offs, that kind of thing. And a list of a suggested list, quite a bit actually, and of course prayer.
A lot of prayers. Yeah, folks still missing over there. We do have actually have ones that are our members in Hickory, North Carolina. We've been in touch with them about what's going on. So pretty well everything over there is destroyed in certain areas.
Yeah,
over
it's
there.
incredible to think about just some of the images that I've seen.
Yeah.
I've had a hard time just imagining what it could possibly be like,
Yeah.
and how overwhelming to be caught up in that and pretty much actually just literally lose everything.
Yeah. Well, one thing I know about people in Lawrence County, and I'm sure it's probably most of Tennessee, is we're givers, and we meet needs, and that is such a blessing. To be able to meet needs.
Yeah.
The most recent that we've seen in this area is Waverly, and I believe they've come back fairly well with help and recovering their lifestyle there.
Well, here in Lawrenceburg and Lawrence County, we've had our share of natural disasters.
You remember that? 98.
We've had our share of natural. We've had flooding.
Yeah.
We've had ice storms. We've had tornadoes. Of
course.
Have. And devastation in pockets around all over the county. And there's always a tremendous effort and volunteer effort and people that care and get behind trying to help those that need it.
Sure. And there's a lot of efforts, Jeff, going on. The Ayers Foundation collecting through schools. This week, churches are collecting. There's a lot of effort just from our area. With collecting supplies and getting it to East Tennessee.
There sure is, yeah. And we're not the only ones.
No.
I think that's kind of to me, it's kind of heartwarming, really, to think about. We've been in a political climate, and where we're butting heads with those that we disagree with all the time, and you hear that in the news, and you hear that, and there's always this seemingly negative world that we live in.
Yep.
But yet, when something like this happens, the Americans seem to put shoulder to shoulder and say, "Hey, we got some people that need help, and let's go do it."
Yep.
And they lay all that down and go.
Let's go.
And that's
it.
and that's a God thing, Bill. That's a God thing.
Sure, it is. Yeah, it is. I believe the I believe the road situation over there, the highways, and we watch that closely through First Class Charter. We've got trips that run up 81 and the different highways over there, 40
Sure.
and 26 and different ones. So I believe folks in that part of the world are doing the best they can to keep traffic moving.
Yeah.
So, my advice is just do some research. There's ways around, and you might want to stay out of Asheville right now. But
I guess you would be kind of in tune to the highways. There's some major highways that have just been washed out.
They're gone. Yeah, but there's ways to get around, and that you can still maneuver and get freight up and down the road and people up and down the road.
It's amazing.
Sure is
Amazing. Well, thank you and thank the folks that are behind that. You mentioned Mike. And I don't think he'd mind us mentioning him, that he's kind of heading up that effort.
Mike Cawthorn, a good friend, member of Thousand Hills Cowboy Church. He's our mission facilitator, and he'd be a great contact for his coordination and what's needed. Again, 829-2816 at the church office there, and we can get information to whoever you need to talk to, and we can get back with you.
Well, I guess, Thousand Hills is like a lot of other churches. They have what I will call sister churches in other areas of the country.
Right.
So they've made some contact there in that area.
Yeah.
And are going to coordinate some relief efforts. With some like-minded people.
Sure.
And that's the way it happens. That's the way it works.
Yeah. We do. We have sister cowboy churches in North Carolina and East Tennessee. And so we'll be coordinating with them. And, of course, the idea is to meet that community's needs immediately, their church family and the community around Hickory and other places. So Newport is another place that's been really hit hard.
Yeah.
I've got a good contact in Gray, Tennessee. Okay. It's up above Morristown. And all around him is just devastation. But wow. We're focusing on getting people needs, get them back to some type of normal lifestyle, and then we'll worry about the reconstruction later.
Yeah. Good deal. Well, good efforts being made by a lot of folks right there. Well, somebody wants to talk to us. Let's see who's on the phone. You may have to have your headphones to hear this, by the way. Hey, good morning.
Yes, ask him if they got a cowboy church in Giles County.
Yeah, a cowboy church in Giles County. Yeah, we can talk about that. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up.
All right. Yeah, I think they do, don't they?
Cowboy Church in Giles County, Stillwater Cowboy Church. We were actually Thousand Hills was one of the sponsors for Stillwater's. Pastor Lewis Thomas is over there, and recently built a new facility. I'm understanding they're running maybe 200 on a Sunday morning.
Yeah,
over there doing a great work in Giles. Started in the stock barn. In Giles County.
Yeah,
it's a rough start, just like Thousand Hills here, but it's they're doing a good work there. Yeah, reach a lot of people, and I would encourage you to visit.
Yeah. Do you know where it's located?
It's
because I don't.
It's up 31.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah. You can Google it, or you can Facebook.
It's called Stillwater's.
Stillwater's
Cowboy Church in Pulaski on 31.
Off of 31.
And, somewhere.
If Lewis is listening,
is that 31 north or
north?
Okay,
it'd be north.
31 north. Okay.
Yeah.
So north of Pulaski.
Yes, sir.
A little bit off of 31 north. Stillwater's Cowboy Church. Okay, so that's great. That's great. By the way, the phone lines are open if you want to talk to Bill or the station here. We've got kind of just some free time, really, for you and I to visit. The hour is sponsored by Rent Right and First Class Charter. Bill and I go way back. We go back a ways.
Pretty good ways. Yeah. I guess I probably knew you in the 70s.
Oh, yeah. High school.
Yeah. High school days.
Yeah.
And
you were just a little ahead of me in football star.
Well, maybe half a star.
Half a star.
Yeah.
You played with some big names. in high school?
We did.
Yeah. I mean,
so they were big to me.
They were.
You know, some state record holders and
That's right.
so forth. So, you know, a good friend of mine, Ricky Lanning.
Yeah.
And, you know, Ronnie
He was quite an
Hartsfield
athlete,
and
yeah.
Mark Beecham and
Yep.
some others that were just
Pat Holman.
Pat Holman.
Yeah. Junior Baker.
Oscar Baker. Yeah.
We're name dropping it.
130 pounds, Oscar.
Don't forget Arno.
Arno Nelson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget Arno.
The list goes on, and it's getting worse.
Yeah.
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 So it was a lot of fun in those days, and but athletes are so much better now.
We can't forget Tom Wilson.
Tom Wilson. I ran into James Daly. You remember James Daly? And Lynn Bradley. What about those guys?
Oh gosh, I hadn't thought about those guys in a while.
I asked James one day. I said, "How do you run so fast?" He said, "I'm scared all the time." So,
I tell you, somebody else that came along just after you guys, I think, was Jeff Noblet.
Noblet played with us.
Did he play with you? He was a little younger.
He was a year behind me.
Okay, and he quarterbacked the best I remember.
Quarterback,
and but now Jeff went on to become a minister.
Yep,
and
pastor.
A pastor of a large church in the Shoals area down there.
Doing great.
And of course, he had a televised ministry there for local in Florence for quite some time.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed listening to Jeff. He's a good solid Bible preacher, teacher.
Does a good job.
Does a great job. I need to have him up here one of these days.
We can do that. I can get a hold of him.
You think you can get a hold of him and drag him up here?
Yeah.
I would love to talk with Jeff. Right. He's a very interesting minister. Now, he's been at it for a long time, too.
As long as we've been doing our deal.
Yeah.
You know, he's pushing 45 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been his life there, so, and his calling. Amazing. Hey, church life's been important to you.
Yep.
How did that start with you?
Well, the Lord saved me. That was the first requirement. Is
where did you grow up going
salvation.
to church? Where did you grow up going to church, though?
Well, you know, in North Louisiana, Baptist church there, and I don't know why we're not Catholics, but we're the only branch that ended up being Baptist, and but most of our family in North Louisiana are Catholic.
Yeah.
And fantastic family down there. Moved up here, and then First Baptist Church here when we moved to town, and then after that was you know, the ministry days. Jimmy and I are married, and then the ministry days probably came around 99, 2000, long in through there.
Yeah.
And then got started, and I was a interim pastor for several years, serving small churches maybe for a few months, or helping them find a pastor. I've done that several times.
Yeah.
Maybe distraught churches go in for a few months or a year and help them. So we went from there to New Prospect Baptist Church.
Yeah.
Serving there, and then from there, Thousand Hills. Thousand Hills was the infancy stage. Pastor Nate and Ann, who we've had on the show here, met up with them, and we've been at Thousand Hills ever since. So it's been a pretty good ride.
Quite a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you learned anything over the years, buddy?
I've learned how little I know, and I'll tell you, my prayers this morning was I asked the Lord. This was way before daylight.
Yeah.
Lord, is there anything in my life that I've not prayed over?
Oh my gosh.
That's a fair
everything
prayer. So, you know, I'd like to you know, encourage everyone to do that, and just direction from the Lord. But
you know, David wrote, "My awaking thought is on thee."
That's good.
Isn't that good? And now I don't find myself in that condition every day, but a lot of days I wake up. That's some of my first thoughts. Okay, but not every day.
Yeah.
You know, we get busy. I was talking to my kids about that over the weekend. We stayed in over the weekend, and we had what I'll call family church. I made them sit in the living room and listen to me. How'd
that work out?
Well, it went good, actually.
Okay.
And they, if you know May's May will chime in and ask questions and and comment. She has her own, she's gonna tell what she thinks, and so we had some pretty good discussions.
It's great.
But I was trying to emphasize the importance of the Word of God, period, and that it is the most important thing in the world. Beyond anything else, if we truly do have a Word of God, then it is the most important thing that exists in this world.
Yeah, it is.
Now, you may not agree with me on that, but
doesn't matter if you agree or not.
But I'm saying what I'm saying is God left us His Word.
Yeah.
Is that not important?
Well, I'll tell you,
very important.
The heartbeat that I have right now, regardless if it's our work life, school life, personal life, people need to hear the Word.
Right.
I believe there's power in the Word, and people just simply need to hear it.
They do.
And let the Lord be the Lord after that. So,
well, God's Word will not return void.
It won't.
It will. It will accomplish the task that it's sent to do.
It will.
We know that from the Scriptures. Also, of course, I tried to emphasize with the kids that, the Scripture says, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth." It's important to instill it young. I didn't get it. I mean, I should have. It's my fault that I didn't. I was drugged to church.
Me too.
I was made to go and sit, and I should have gotten a lot more than I did.
No, I was raised on the fourth row.
Yeah. So I grew up going all my life, but didn't really start comprehending anything until I was more adult.
No, isn't it a beautiful thing when the Lord turns the light on to you and you realize that you're lost?
Yeah.
That you're a lost individual. One thing, Jeff, that comes to mind that I think we need to remember is to be still, as David says, be still and know. Be still and know that I'm God. We're so busy as Americans.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We every moment has to be full of something, and that's a shame on us.
Yeah.
That a simple walk and just your mind rest,
Right.
And just be still.
Yep.
And be able to comprehend. Yep.
Well, it's our own fault.
It is.
I like being busy.
Yep.
I do, and we get bored easy.
We do.
And we start training our kids real quick about that. They got to have something to do all the time.
Entertainment.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
And our phones, of course, I don't want to get off on the phone thing, but our attention span is so short.
Yeah.
And we've been trained to watch these little videos.
We have.
10, 15-second little videos. And if it's not changing all the time, then we get too bored with it.
Yeah.
And I think we're missing something when we can't concentrate on an area of study for a long time.
That's right.
And meditate on it.
And be creative.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah. We've had it on the radio show with Shannon Watson here about free time, about playtime for children. Let them be creative outside instead of having organized activity.
Well, I was going to answer the phone, but she left. In fact, we invite the phone calls, by the way, 766-939. Bill won't mind a bit. He's sponsoring this hour. It's your hour.
That's right.
Let's see if anybody wants to talk to us. Hey, good morning. How are you?
I have a question, and then I'm going to hang up and listen. I'd be interested in the profile of the church, kind of like the demographics, the age and things.
Okay.
And it's similar to the movement of other churches. He mentioned the Baptists. They started doing community churches. They're still the same practices, but they're set up a little bit different.
Yeah.
And also, are they from Lawrenceburg? Or are these people moving in or other places? Just to kind of, I don't know anything about that church.
Okay. Well, we'll try to clean that up a little bit. Okay. All right. Very good. Yeah,
that's great.
That's a good question.
Great question.
Who are the people that go to the Cowboy Church?
Most of them are. They come from a Western type lifestyle. Majority are 95% are blue collar workers. We do have a lawyer or two in the congregation
And a judge.
We got them. So, but most are have some type of interest in Western culture. Either they're horseback riders or cattle farmers,
or farmers in general.
Farmers in general. That we've got people in there that raise dogs for a living. And it's just rural type people, and I feel like it fits the the demographic that was spoken of Lawrence County pretty well. So age-wise, it's a younger church. Matter of fact, at one time, I think the average age was in its 30s, 30 years old.
Really?
A lot of young mamas and daddies and children. A lot of them have stayed, so they're in their 40s, later, early 50s now. We do have 80-year-olds. We've got one or two 90-year-olds, but the average attendance is, we're running 400, 350 to 400, 425.
Now, there's no requirement. There's no requirement to be in the farming business or a cowboy.
No, not at all.
You don't have to be a cowboy to go to cowboy church.
You can just like John Wayne if you want to.
I mean, that's kind of, and I'll have to admit, now I've been Teresa and I've been regular visitors there for quite some time, and it, you don't have to be a cowboy. I'm not a cowboy.
No.
I don't wear cowboy hats. I wear tennis shoes.
Yeah, me too.
And but you'll see guys with boots.
Yeah.
And hats, and you'll see guys with a cap. And
yeah.
Overalls even.
That's right.
So it's a good mix of a lot of folks.
It really is.
It's
fantastic.
A good mix of a lot of folks, and they're just what I would call salt of the earth people.
They are very salty.
Hard working, but give you the shirt off their back people.
We do. One of the things that's talked about a lot is we encourage young men to be men, and we train up our young men to respect ladies, and I believe that's probably a focus. That's probably one of the leading focuses that we have is on young men and to be the leaders of their family and their communities. So
yeah. That just to clarify though, you don't have to be a cowboy to go to cowboy.
You don't have to be a cowboy. Yeah, I think Jeff's been looking for your cowboy hat, hadn't you?
Well, I'm more of a Colonel Littleton hat, I guess, than a cowboy hat.
That's good.
Yeah, I like the
big billfold and a pair of flip flops, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's a come as you are place. Really, it's a come as you are.
Yeah.
And you'd be comfortable there in tennis shoes or in overalls.
Yeah, it's a comfortable place.
Yeah, so it's good. I will say this: you got some interesting people there, though. That one in particular that stands out to me, who was he was in TV. Help me with his name.
Bill Glidden.
Bill Glidden. Bill Glidden, who I had the privilege of meeting him and his wife. I don't think he would mind you telling a little bit of his history. You know a little bit about him and where he came from. I got to meet him and talk to him, but he was in several TV shows and movies.
Well, Bill is an interesting character. Moved into Murray County several years ago, and Bill's livelihood came from providing horses and wagons for Western movies.
Yes.
So they would hire him to come in and help with the scenes, and he would participate in a lot of the scenes.
Yeah.
I don't have a list of the movies that he's been in, but there was a period of time with all the major Westerns or Civil War type drama movies that you would see, Bill would have a part in those.
Yeah.
And they're still active at a lot of the plantation homes when they have reenactment days, such as Shiloh or the one at Spring Hill.
Yeah.
There'll be the orators or the.
Well, he can put together an authentic wagon team.
He can now.
And wagons and in that era of the Western.
Sure.
And all that stuff. I've seen some of the photos. I've seen some photos of him in some of the TV shows that he made appearances in. He's an interesting guy.
He is, and we also, we've got a family that raises Clydesdales, and they're really interesting, and they travel all over the country selling teams and training teams and breeding Clydesdale horses. So we've got quite a crowd circulating around. That
Daniel and I got to go to. There was one scheduled, but it got postponed because of the weather. But we got to go to chuck wagon cooking.
Yeah.
I want you to talk about your chuck wagon game.
Well, we call it Night at the Wagon.
Yeah.
It's a men's event, usually on a Friday night, and we've actually got a chuck wagon that's dressed out to cook, outdoor cook. The big pots and the over the fire deal, and we've got a team that puts all that together. They do several activities throughout the year, and this is a ministry that these guys and girls have put together. We'll go to events, maybe down in North Alabama. They'll probably end over in East Tennessee somewhere, doing some cooking for this emergency relief.
Yeah.
They've been known to do that. So it's authentic. They feed, on a Friday night, they may feed 100 or so.
I have to say,
guys.
Daniel and I got to go to one of the nights at the wagon, and it was just one that they hosted there at Thousand Hills, and it was basically an all men's group at that point.
It is, and we're all about fellowship,
Yeah.
and giving guys time to be guys. Leave the girls at home just for an hour or two.
Yeah.
So we're big on that, and just again training young men and encouraging older men to be men, to be the authority in their home as God has called us to be.
You know, that's let's talk about that for just a minute, Bill. Not necessarily, well, the church aspect of it, but biblically. Well, what am I trying to ask? I was going to ask you, not ask you, but talk about the fact that our society, we have a warped sense of what a man is.
It's getting worse. Yeah, it's
and
sliding
I don't mean
down
to be.
the hill quickly.
I'm not trying to be controversial at all with that. What I'm saying is, we do need to get back for men to be men. But what does that mean? And and again, we'll go back to the biblical principles of what a man should be.
Well, the first one is to love your wife as the Lord loved the church.
Yes.
So that's a strong call there, and we've got to get by puppy love, and we've got to get to authority and respect.
And
for
responsibility.
Responsibility and accountability for your spouse. So it's a tall charge that oftentimes is forgotten.
Yeah.
And but again, we recognize the need of that biblical model.
Yeah.
So we that's not the only thing we work on, but it's it's in the forefront.
Well, it's part of the foundation of having families. If you've got a strong man figure, father figure, and one who's leading his family as best he can biblically, then you're bound to have a good, strong family relationship.
Sure.
Which is kind of a foundation of society.
It is. Dealing with the school board that I've been recently elected to, I'm beginning to learn about how much responsibility is put on teachers and the Lawrence County school system.
Yeah, tremendous.
Tremendous. And the number one responsibility that's been handed is to be the daddy. And transportation all the way to food, clothes, health care, all those areas.
Yeah.
And you're right how it's twisted from mom and daddy being responsible for little Johnny and little Sally to the government.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because mamas and daddies, bless their hearts, are not responsible like they should be. A lot of them.
Yeah, but there's a lot of good parents
There
too,
is,
Jeff.
there is.
There's some
no doubt.
good role models,
I'm not,
ones that are doing fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But that just needs to be encouraged.
Heavily.
Heavily
And
encouraged.
it needs to start at a young age. And I feel like that things are all spiritual, and all things are it's in the book, it's in the Bible, the instruction of caring for your children, your authority in your home, and leadership responsibilities that have been set before us.
Yeah. Godly wisdom given.
Yeah.
Amen. 8:40. It's 8:49. By the way, the phone lines are open, 766-9393. It is the Rent Right and First Class Charter Hour, and we've talked about some good things going on at Rent Right. We'll take a minute here to kind of rehearse that again. You've got some fantastic equipment, not only not only to rent, but you got some stuff you can make purchases with.
We do.
You got some lawn care equipment over there that's second to none.
We are so excited. Two of the handheld lines that we sell displayed nicely in the front showroom is DeWalt.
Yeah.
Handheld, the long pole trimmers, all of them are battery powered.
Yeah.
The grass string trimmers that you can change the batteries out in. There's another brand that we began to carry last year was by the name of Cress.
Yes.
KRESS. It's got a fantastic warranty on them. I want to encourage you to come by. Handheld blowers, different things. Be a great add-on item if you're looking at Hustler mowers.
Yeah.
Hustler zero-turn mowers, which are second to none in
Hey,
the market.
with the holidays coming up and gift giving coming
Yeah.
around, Dad would like one of those probably.
Dad needs one of those, and so be fantastic. 0% interest on zero-turn mowers right now.
Oh, wow.
Got some fall specials going on, so come by. Got a good stock, and
That's
love to show
fantastic.
you what we've got.
Fantastic. Sell and service what you sell and
Every day.
and all that stuff. Good stuff
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
Good stuff at Rent Right. And good folks to do business with. That's right. Oh, May told me that Chris, your first class charter man,
Yep.
Chris Davis.
Chris Davis.
He was in here with us a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
She was telling me that he was really funny. That she gets a kick out of him. That he comes through the shop and he has to be acknowledged.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Of course, he's a big guy.
He is. Yeah.
He's a great big guy.
Chris does a
Big
great
time.
job for us. Does the sales for First Class Charter, and if you go online, firstclasscharter.net, looking for a quote on a motor coach charter.
Yeah.
We can hold up to 56 people. There's a link on our website, Jeff, that you can click, and it'll automatically go to Chris, and he'll get back with you shortly with a quote.
You know, that's pretty neat. It's not, if you've got a pretty good group that you want to take somewhere and plan a trip, you got a church group, this, that, and the other. It's not as expensive as you might think. You share the cost. Among a bus load, and it's a great way to make it happen.
It really is. You divide it out by 56 seats, however you want to do it. If you got 40 or 50, baggage bays underneath, you can carry your luggage really nice.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to move around.
It really is.
I'm looking forward to our out west trip next year. I hope you and Teresa go with us.
Now, where is this?
We're going to do Yellowstone again.
Are we?
We've got we're going to go as passengers this time. And
Okay.
If anybody wants information on that, it's so fun. It's more of an adventure. Now, if you call it a vacation, it's not a vacation. It's an adventure.
Okay.
So we'll
Well, go ahead and put me down for 2 seats. I'm in.
It's really fun.
I'll tell Teresa about it later.
Okay. But
I'll have to get it by her, but yes.
yeah, it's great.
I would love to.
Yeah. And
I would love to see out west.
Yeah. We did 2 years ago. We did all four corners of Yellowstone, and of course you can't hit it all in one trip. But we're gonna go back.
I read a statistic just this morning on how many visitors there are annually to Yellowstone.
Tell me.
You got any idea?
I have no idea.
It was like, of course, Yellowstone is huge.
Yeah.
3 million.
3 million. Wow.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're coming and going all the time.
If we can get 1 million of them on a bus, or several bus loads,
They're coming and going all the time.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That's fun. But a lot of exciting things.
So when is that trip, by the way?
It's probably be September of 25.
September 25.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll that's something to look forward to. There's others. We do Christmas in New York. We do Vermont, leaves in Vermont, different
That's
groups.
the one Teresa wants to go to right there.
Jimmy Ann wants to do that. I think it's called New England.
Yeah,
New England tour.
Teresa would love
Yeah.
that New England tour.
Yeah.
She's always wanted to go up through there.
Yeah.
Can we can take naps on the motor coach while we're traveling, can't we?
I usually take 2 or 3 a day. So
And of course, you can read or you can see the scenery.
That's right.
It's just a fun way to travel.
it's a fantastic way to travel with your friends, and you're going to stop every 2 or 3 hours and eat. So
Well, you got to do that.
yeah,
You got to do that.
just a good way to move.
Have you had of course, you've got to go many trips. You've also driven. You probably don't drive as much now as we used to. Whoops.
Nope, it's
as
me.
we used to. But is there one in particular or any favorite trip that sticks out to you that say, that was my favorite trip, or a couple of them?
We did Savannah, Georgia, a couple years ago. That was so fun. Savannah and Charleston. It's not a really early morning leave, and I'm a 7 o'clock guy. I'm not a 4 o'clock guy, so I like to leave at 7. And Savannah has so much history, and it's pretty well packaged around Savannah. And I love plantation homes and Southern type living, and then the history there, and also Charleston. And that was really fun.
Was it mostly just the history stuff that was good to you, or I'm just wondering what the attraction was?
I love all the history and the plantation homes. I loved how there's a lot of immigrants that moved in there, and workers, and also the river life.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history and talk about ports and so forth. So it's still active today.
Well, just out of curiosity, when you go on a trip like that, you're obviously on the bus or on the motor coach, I should say, and so you get to your destination, and then how do we get around from there? As far as
you'll stay
places?
on the coach every day. You'll have a central location via a hotel. That we stayed in Savannah, and then you'll have your guide with you, and you're going to be going to a different plantation or maybe downtown area. They'll let you off. You got 3 or 4 hours to spend.
Yeah,
they'll give you suggestions of where to go. But if you're going into a plantation home, they'll put you out. Right at the front door. You'll do the plantation tour.
Okay.
You might eat lunch there.
Yeah.
And then back on the motor coach and on to your next destination.
So it's planned out, basically.
It's very planned out.
Yeah.
And some people like it that way. We've done tours too where it's not planned at all. You just on your own. That's kind of harem scarum.
Yeah.
I like a loose schedule myself.
Yes.
Give me some
schedule,
time.
A schedule, but some loose time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I would too.
Yeah.
I think I would too.
Yeah.
We need to do a couple of things. We need to go to a ball game too one of these days.
That's fun. Which one you want to go to?
I don't know, just some big ball game.
Okay. What about Reds?
Cincinnati Reds.
We'll go to the Ark and Creation Museum, then go to a Reds game. It's right across the river.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Or a Braves game too.
Braves games. We do Braves games a couple times a year.
Yeah, those are fun. We had a great time seeing a couple of ball games down there during Daniel's birthday and all that stuff. So, that's just fun. I enjoy a good trip, and it's good and it's fun, and then you get to come home and you go, man, I'm glad to be home too. So it's kind of rewarding both ways.
One of the things that I learned early in the motor coach business, and I probably knew it before we went into business, is kids need to see the world. They need to see outside of their common area.
Yeah.
Jim Ann and I were fortunate enough to raise our kids traveling, doing mission work overseas and different things. And we didn't even know what we were doing, but our children are more well-rounded because they've seen other places in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's a hats off to parents that travel. It's hats off to Lawrence County, where they do put children on motor coaches or school buses and get them out of here and let them see
the world.
See
a little bit. Yeah. See a little outside of our little world right here.
Yeah.
Well, buddy, we have just about run our hour out.
Thank you so much.
First class charter, of course. Rent right, of course. What's the phone number to rent right, by the way?
762-8187.
762-8187 for all those equipment needs. And also, Thousand Hills Cowboy Church, if you want to get involved in the donation effort, that phone number is 829-2816.
Give us a call.
829-2816. We appreciate you being here again, buddy. We'll see you next week. I'll probably see you before then.
Yeah.
But we'll see you next week here on the radio, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Broadcast services of Prospect Communications.
It's getting tenser in the Middle East. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. U.S. officials just told Fox